Welcome. It's Sunday, and it's a show. I'm Jake, and I'm back here with Luke in his dark hidey hole. Say
Yep.
hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday.
All right.
All right.
Happy Sunday. All right. So America, we're gonna get right into it. So we know when we know when Joe Biden entered office, he told American oil workers to go screw. He said he was going to eliminate fossil fuels. He ran on this premise, and he continued to continued this work immediately when he entered office, when he cut things like the Keystone Pipeline. And now that we have an oil shortage, what's he doing? He's not going to domestic workers. He's not starting up the Keystone Pipeline. What is he doing? He's going to OPEC, hostile nations. He's asking them to produce more oil so that we can bring down the cost of a barrel. So let's go to the Washington Times. All right, so we see the Washington Times. Stay out of the way. Oil states urge Biden to uncork U.S. drilling instead of turning to OPEC. We see Greg Abbott tweeted, "Dear White House, Texas can do this. Our producers can easily produce that oil if your administration will just stay out of the way. All American workers, not OPEC, again, foreign hostile nations, produce the oil that can reduce the price of gasoline. Do not make us dependent on foreign sources of energy." Well, too late. We already are again. Then we go down to see what Governor Kevin Stitt said. "It is disturbing that the Biden administration looks to foreign adversaries for help while punishing Oklahoma and other oil-producing states here at home. As governor, I take pride in Oklahoma's status as a global leader in oil and gas production and our history of powering the world for generations. President Biden should show America's energy independence and support domestic oil and gas production rather than turning his back on hardworking Oklahomans." Amen. My great-grandfather was a hardworking Oklahoma oil man, very successful, ran a company called Independence Oil out of Hennessy, Oklahoma for years, self-made millionaire. So that's close to home for me. Yeah, like people like my great-grandfather, if he was alive and working today, would be hit very hard by what the Biden administration is doing right now. So clearly Biden only cares about eliminating fossil fuels that are American. The Biden administration's goal, it almost seems to be to turn its back on American interests, destroy American business, destroy the economy. I mean, that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
This time last year, we were energy independent, and now we are asking foreign nations, OPEC consisting of nations like, you want to know who OPEC consists of? Let's go to the founding nations of OPEC here. All right. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, was founded in Baghdad, Iraq, with the signing of an agreement in September 1960 by 5 countries, namely Islamic Republic of Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. So these are the people that Joe Biden is going that he's going to asking for help, begging that demanding, they say in the news, but I'm sure begging OPEC to increase their oil production, which people like the Prince of Saudi Arabia, after the White House, Joe Biden entered office early, and he said, let's go back to the Hill. Early in the Biden's presidency, the White House announced that Biden would not speak to Mohammed bin Salman, and he would only communicate with his father, the ailing Saudi king Salman bin Abdulaziz. I can read this, I'm just tongue-tied. Abdulaziz. Then Biden released an intelligence assessment that the Crown Prince was responsible for the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. This antagonism did not apparently sit well with the Crown Prince, who soon thereafter unexpectedly squashed an anticipated production hike from the fellow OPEC members, causing oil prices to jump 4%. So this was a clear message. Mess with Saudi Arabia and expect no help taming the price of oil. So Joe Biden has already pissed off the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, so he's not exactly willing to help out America, and they're not exactly allies to America in any way. All right, so that's right, America. Your so-called leader told you to go screw, and now he's begging OPEC for help. So Joe Biden puts foreign interest before his own country's as if he's participating in some sort of like global high school popularity contest. Only he doesn't realize that the other kids don't like him. They're openly laughing at him, and he doesn't even realize. Like he's so out of it that he doesn't even realize when he's like shit his own pants.
I know, dude. It's like it's not even really funny anymore. He's lost it. He is completely senile at this point. You know what I mean? Like all he cares about is ice cream.
Double chocolate chip,
baby.
I'm just. Here we go.
What are you looking at?
Go to my screen.
All right.
Okay, here's Joe getting off.
What's he doing? Where's he going?
Just arrived back at the White House. Okay.
All right.
There's the leader of the free world.
Okay.
Now watch, you see the Secret Service guy in the back.
What's he doing?
Oh, he's there. Well, he's there. You'll see. Oh yeah, to point the president. Sir, stay on the sidewalk, sir. Make a right.
Are you kidding me?
He just keeps going.
Where's he going? Where's he going?
Finally got his attention.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the president. I just thought I'd throw that in there. All right, well,
he looked like an old man we were just watching Sopranos, and it's like when Junior wandered, you know, when he like just that was him. That was him. Just wandering. Probably sitting on a bench somewhere.
You think he ever just wanders out of the White House and Jill and the Secret Service have to go find him?
Yeah, they probably got like a tracker on him.
They find him somewhere. Like
oh, he's wandering. He's wandering. Someone go get him.
In Maryland, like under a bridge. All right, well, if being senile wasn't enough, he's also a liar. I mean, I think we all knew that. But to those that are still in denial, Fox recovered some leaked audio of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas admitting that the border crisis is out of control and worse than ever before, which is not what they've been saying publicly or what Joe Biden has been saying publicly. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the leader of the free world had to say about the surge at the border.
It happens every single solitary year. There is a significant increase in the number of people coming to the border in the winter months of January, February, March. It happens every year.
Yeah, so the winter months are over, Joe Biden, so the surge continues well into the summer. Let's play the next clip.
In April alone, Mr. President, 170,000 people, migrants, apprehended at the border. It's a 20-year record. There are 22,000 unaccompanied children in our country right now. That's a record. That sounds to most folks like a crisis.
Well, look, it's way down now. We've now gotten control.
So now Joe Biden is just claiming it's all under control, everything's taken care of. Well, Joe, you're lying.
Liar.
So Fox News recovered this secretly recorded audio or leaked audio. I'm not sure which.
I think it was leaked.
Just leaked audio of the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas talking about the border crisis. So let's go ahead and play that. Let's see what my girl Kaylee has to say.
Migrant encounters at the border hit a 21-year high last month, with agents detaining more than 200,000 migrants, a 419% increase over last year. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was at the border yesterday, calling the situation complicated and insisting the border is closed. But listen to what he said privately to border officials in leaked audio Fox News has obtained exclusively.
It's unsustainable. These numbers cannot continue. We cannot get to a point where we were a couple weeks ago. and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're looking at the policy options. We can't continue like this. Our people in the field can't continue, and our system isn't built for it. I know very well, hearing from Chief Hastings, Chief Ortiz, and others, how close we came to breaking, how close you came to breaking here in this sector. And it's our responsibility to make sure that never happens again. We don't get that close again.
Wow.
Close you were to breaking.
Yeah.
But on the breaking news on TV, it's under control. Everything's okay. They're lying to you. I don't know how some people still don't see it. Some people still just go along, listen to what they're told. They go along with the charade. Some people, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's a virus.
Arnie was recently on a podcast with Alex Vindman.
Whoops. Hang on. Go back. Sorry. My bad. My apologies. I got a little excited. Just do it.
Just do it.
Do it now. Get to the chopper.
Okay, so Arnie recently was doing a podcast with Alex Vindman, who some of you may know as one of the key witnesses in the key witness in the Trump impeachment trial, the man who actually reported the phone call which he claimed, which he thought was unconstitutional and illegal. He was in some way colluding with the Ukrainian government when he was trying to unearth information on the corrupt business dealings of Joe Biden and his son in the Ukraine. So they were on a podcast together, and Arnie went on to say something to the effect of, anyone that is against the masks that, don't work properly when worn by the average citizen, or the very new, still unapproved vaccines, then they are the equivalent of an individual who just runs traffic lights everywhere they go and puts people at risk. So let's go ahead and play the clip of Arnie there.
There's a virus here. It kills people, and the only way we prevent it is to get vaccinated, to wear masks, to do social distancing, washing your hands all the time, and not just to think about, well, my freedom is being kind of disturbed here. No, screw your freedom. Because with freedom comes obligations and kind of responsibilities. We cannot just say, I have the right to do X, Y, and Z. When you affect other people, that is when it gets serious. It's like no different than a traffic light. We put a traffic light at an intersection so someone doesn't kill someone else by accident. So this is why we have a traffic light. You cannot say, no one is going to tell me that I'm going to stop here, that I have to stop at this traffic light here. I'm going to go right through it. Yeah, then you kill someone else, and then it is your doing. So this is the same thing with the virus. You cannot go and not put a mask on, because when you breathe, you can infect someone else, and you can infect someone that then gets sick and may die. So
yeah. So, no, Arnie, we don't run traffic lights because that would be extremely dangerous, unlike COVID, and it's against the law. Arnie seems to confuse the law with, your individual freedoms and pursuit to happiness being infringed upon. I mean, I thought the pursuit of happiness is supposed to be guaranteed by the Constitution, but Arnie says, screw your freedoms. And you know what, Luke, didn't you happen to unearth something on Arnie that I didn't know?
Yeah, I was reading up about Mr. Schwarzenegger, and apparently his father was a Nazi. He was a part of the Nazi Party in
1938, right?
Yeah, 38.
Yeah, just before the Nazi Party really took over. Arnold's father was a Nazi.
Yep.
And now he's out there saying, screw your freedom.
Screw your freedom, yeah.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Sounding a bit like Daddy, Arnie?
Just a bit.
Let's just take a step onto that slippery slope, folks.
No kidding. The same people that were saying punch a Nazi are the same people saying show me your papers.
Yep.
It's wild.
A little ironic.
Isn't it?
And try to get what they want with violence. All right, so first, it was the masks and the testing, and then the vaccine came along, and the people that wanted to take it were like, oh, we're saved, and the people that didn't want to take it even thought maybe this is the pathway for people to get back. People that do want to take it, and then if you've had the virus, you've got the natural immunity, so together a bigger, big enough percentage of the population would be immune that we would stomp this thing out. And we see in most states with this Delta variant that it's already run the height of its course, like we saw in the UK and the countries hit prior to it. It's not going to be around for very long. It's on its way out, which I'm sure the establishment is freaking out because they don't know what they're going to use to keep you afraid next. But
my guess is global warming.
well, now we have, yeah. Well, yeah, they've been doing that. And they're going to continue to do that. That's what I see that on the news all the time now. And we saw that report come out of where did that come from?
Which one?
The crisis report.
Oh, Wall Street Journal.
No, it was like a federal agency.
Oh.
We'll put it. I'll find it and I'll put it up. They put out the crisis report claiming that we were out of time to change our ways, and that now all we could do is try to mend the damage that we've already done and try to go on. So they are doing that. But as I was saying, first it was the mask and the testing. And then they came along with the vaccine, and everybody that wanted to take the vaccine was free to do so. And the people that had the virus saw this as maybe the way out. You know, people who wanted to take it and people who had already had the virus had natural immunity. We all saw this vaccine as the way out to get back to life, right? But we never saw, but, you know, no one, I mean, maybe I did see it coming, but I don't want to say I didn't see it coming. But at first, there was no talk of forcing everybody to get this thing. But now we are seeing the mandatory vaccine passports in the United States. We're seeing it in New York City big time. I mean, I never thought the United States would become a country where if I wanted to take place in an indoor activity like going to a restaurant, I would have to show my papers like this is Nazi-occupied United States.
Yeah, San Francisco too.
San Francisco too now,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Unbelievable. Mandatory compliance, authoritarian policy is in play. It's on the board. It has been, but you can't fail to notice it at this point. So, like I said before, I thought the pursuit of happiness was guaranteed, but it seems like they're stomping that out as they take away your right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought what the left say, my body, my choice, right? My body, my choice.
Yeah.
But, you know, you only are guaranteed the pursuit of happiness these days if you're a leftist that is happy to be told what to do by the state and federal government and live your life that way. So, like an individual like Alexander Vindman, who we talked about before, who was a key witness in the impeachment trial, turning Trump in for his illegal activities dealing with the Ukrainian government, Vindman is known as the whistleblower who leaked that call, and for when he was inquiring into the Biden's family dealings in the Ukraine. This was, of course, chopped up to collusion of some sort, cooked by the anti-Trump media, and constantly paraded across the screens of CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and ABC, day after day, all day long on a loop in front of your face. But, of course, nothing became of that because Trump did nothing illegal. But I swear to this day, some people still believe that he just hasn't faced justice for that quid pro quo phone call. But, you know, you want to talk about a quid pro quo. Biden is happy to go on camera and admit to a crowd of people that he did something illegal.
I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
That's quid pro quo, folks. This for that. Made a deal. Said if you don't get rid of the prosecutor that's investigating Burisma and my son, who was making $300,000 off of that, or Yeah, $300,000 sitting on that chair there, doing nothing. That he was going to withhold $1 billion in aid. And what happened? The prosecutor gets fired. Quid pro quo. But Biden can just go on camera and brag about his illegal activities because the media and the Washington establishment will protect him. Vindman does the same. Prior to bragging about doing his duty on The View and other daytime talk shows, he went in front of Congress and claimed that he didn't know who the whistleblower was. Had no idea. He wouldn't give up his identity, wouldn't give up sources. And at the time, they didn't know that Vindman himself was actually the whistleblower. So here he is perjuring himself in front of Congress.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, you testified in the deposition that you did not know who the whistleblower was or is.
I do not know who the whistleblower is. That is
how is it?
All right, so there he is lying to Congress. He could have pleaded the fifth because later on we find out Vindman himself is the whistleblower. He could have pleaded the fifth and not answered those questions, but he said he did not know the identity of the whistleblower, which was him. And then he goes on TV. Now he's going on TV because he's written a book and he's bragging about the great thing he did to get Orange Man Bad impeached. Let's go ahead and play that clip from The View.
Lieutenant Colonel, to remind everyone, you were working at the White House as an expert on Russia and Eastern Europe for the National Security Council, which is how you found yourself on that notorious quid pro quo call that led to Trump's first impeachment. You say from the moment you heard the call, you knew you had to report it or nobody else would. Tell us why.
Well, for one thing, I was the official responsible for that portfolio, for that matter, at the White House. So I didn't even, I certainly considered whether other people were going to report it, but I knew it was my responsibility to do it. It was my duty to do that. It was my duty to uphold my oath of office, which included supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic. And I saw a risk to our democracy and an impediment to free and fair elections, and I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Yep, he knew exactly what he needed to do. Lie to Congress.
These people.
Activist in the military.
Deranged.
Doing anything he could to get Donald Trump out of office. But Daniel Hale, remember Daniel Hale, releases documents that show the range of drone strike destruction rained down on innocents during the Obama administration, and he goes to prison for nearly 4 years. Well, I understand that maybe if he hadn't stolen the documents and released them in the way he did, he could have come out as a whistleblower and maybe not faced the same legal recourse. But, I mean, let's be real. We saw how it went for Edward Snowden. You can't speak out against these people. You can't speak out against the establishment or the Democrats, or you are the enemy. You go on a list, and you will go down. I mean, Edward Snowden somewhere now, as far as I know, is living in a shack somewhere in Russia with a woman that he only knows as babushka, and he eats potato soup every night. Do you want to live that life?
Yeah.
If you speak out against these people, you're going to have to fight like hell to survive. Okay?
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, though, I see the generation now being raised to do the opposite of fight back. They're being raised to sit down, do what you're told, conform, listen to the government, listen to the media, don't question anything. That the hive mind is better than individual thinking. We see this groupthink mentality not only pushed in the media, but we see it on kids' TVs and their, we see it in our education systems, and we see it in fashion, which takes me to one of my last points. I mean, growing up, when you'd see it in like the 80s and the 90s, the people that were dyeing their hair and they were piercing their face and they were dressing weird, these were the people that were trying to be individuals, and they were the weird ones, right? And they stuck out like a sore thumb. But today, these people that are dyeing their hair crazy colors and piercing their face up and getting face tattoos and wearing these wild outfits and claiming they're the gender they're not doing this to be individuals. They're doing this to conform. There is no individuality in this country really anymore in that sense. Like, there are no weirdos that are just like the oddball out, unless maybe you're talking about like a serial killer or a pedophile, which is not someone you want to hang out with anyway. But just these people that, they dye their hair purple and they go out on the streets and it's all about groupthink. They're doing it to be included now. It's like me versus you. It's like, and they all come out and they speak like they're the oppressed and they're the individual, but it is really this group-like mentality. It's this little army forming of like these people are carrying out like I'm depending, I'm defending my right to be different. But the thing is, you're not different. We see these teen girls in high school transitioning in groups. It's like some sort of trend now that's truly for these girls that are truly lonely, deeply lonely inside, you know? And these kids play into it. It's we see the progressive push for acceptance and individualism we've created slaves to idealism, and that is ripping this country apart at the seams. These kids have to be taught to think for themselves and be fed real information, but they're being indoctrinated, and school is no place for idealism. I mean, school is a place to learn how to read and write and learn your geography and your mathematics. It's not a place to indoctrinate kids to be activists or social justice warriors, or teaching them this critical race nonsense about how you're oppressed and you're the oppressor, and how a black kid in the classroom should see the white kid as privileged above him. No matter what he does in life, he doesn't stand a chance as long as that white kid has a step ahead of him. It's all bullshit nonsense that they're teaching these children in these schools these days, and they're trying to raise them to grow up to be stupid and weak and bend to the system, because if you raise a weak generation, then they won't question authority. They will do what they're told. So that's what we're seeing in our country nowadays. It's a nightmare. It's scary. At least we see some parents fighting back. We saw Matt Walsh the other day. That was a great appearance he did at his own local school board in Nashville. But my point being, like, any kids out there, like, don't give in to this groupthink nonsense that you feel like you have to go along with what is socially acceptable nowadays. Like, if you think if you're a girl and you're gay, you don't have to transition to become a boy to be more socially accepted than a lesbian. You know, that's a problem nowadays.
Yeah.
We're seeing girls that are lesbians, they feel they would not be accepted as lesbians in their communities, but they would be more accepted if they transitioned into boys and became trans men. Right. It's insanity. It's mental illness, and these kids need to be treated, and they need help, but no one's there to help them. They're all being encouraged. This nonsense is all being encouraged.
Right.
Scary times. All right. You got anything to say, Luke?
No, I think you're 100% right. It is scary times. Like, people can't think for themselves anymore. People aren't discussing it in front of anyone anymore because they're afraid. You can't be an individual anymore, and that's really scary, because that's we're just falling in line, submitting.
That's what this country's all about.
Just submitting. We've never been about submitting.
No, I mean, like, about being in individual freedoms. That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it, man. I'm pissed off. I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, getting out of here.
All right.
What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.